Hello, everyone. We are back with another episode of WISI Talks. And today we are going to talk about boxing and India at Olympics, of course. I am Vaidehi, and with me is Anusha. Hi, Anusha.
Hi, Vaidehi. Nice to meet you again here.
It is a super exciting topic today, isn't it? Boxing, because I think we have been doing well in terms of boxing. But before we turn to boxing, we have news updates. So, Anusha, if you can take it over.
Yeah, so it'll be a short one today, I guess, because we talk about just two things, cricket and F1. So in cricket, as we know, India is in Australia. We played an ODI series, which we lost. There are some problems. For example, the main one is the balance. We don't have a proper all-rounder with Hardik not being able to bowl. I think that was a major issue in the one-day series. So we also had the first T20 which we won, which was in an interesting thing happened where Jadeja was hit on the helmet. He was concussed, and Chahal, who was not even in the team, came in as a concussion substitute, was able to bowl because of that, and actually won the man of the match. So from not being in the team to coming as a substitute, concussion substitute, bowling and getting the man of the match, India won the match, which was great. Today is the second T20. So hopefully we'll do better in the T20 series. I think coming from IPL, we weren't able to adjust to the ODI plus the team balance. That was an issue, but T20 we should be fine. And I'm really looking forward to the Test series. That's the biggie, right?
Yeah. I mean, which format do you like the most in cricket?
Oh, I am a big Test match fan. I can
you
sacrifice any other format for a Test match.
you are the classic kind of a person.
Absolutely. That's why
Yeah.
it's a test match. It tests everything from skill to endurance to patience to anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, according to what I've heard, most cricket players also love to enter test cricket because it's a challenge for them, isn't it? It's 5 days of non-stop cricket and in God knows what weather.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess I'm not a big fan of long format. I prefer short format myself. But I guess each format has its own challenges. In test, you have longer duration over which you play continuous cricket. In T20, maybe you have little less time than you would expect, to score more runs. But so yeah, I mean, let's see how well we do. Do you think we have an excuse for losing? Because I I was thinking about this when I read in the newspapers and I watched part of the matches. We
Mhm.
just came out of IPL, so we can't really say that you know, we didn't have any practice in a way. And
Yeah, yeah. So, but the only thing is, see, the one day international is a completely different game altogether, right? You need to sustain that 50 over. Even Virat said that. I think coming out of T20, they couldn't adjust to that. And I'm sure they're not there to make excuses, but it's a tough tour, especially test matches. It's going to be really tough with Smith and Warner back compared to the 2018 series.
yeah,
So and it's not a very easy place to play. We all know that. So it's going to be fun. But fans are back there, which is a great thing. I wish I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to go for the test series. I'm just stuck. We can't enter Australia. So
wow.
yeah, so unfortunate.
Yeah, but it is good to see people in stadium
Yeah, yeah, totally.
because any sport cannot be played without its fans or people in stadium, especially cricket. It's such a huge sport, and it's dependent. The atmosphere of any match is dependent on the fans inside the stadium. It's same as football, right? So it's good to see fans back in the stadium, and it kind of makes you feel like things are going back to somewhat normal, and I'm really glad that it's happening now.
Yeah, and the cricketers are able to move around freely there because there are no cases. So it's good to see that. I hope we reach there very soon here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and the second one, F1 quickly. For whoever saw knows what happened in the last race in Bahrain. Grosjean was so lucky to be alive. His car just went into a barrier and was split in two. And there was a fireball. It took around 20 seconds to come out of that fireball, and he was alive because of some reasons, right? I don't know. There is a bar which was introduced a few years ago called the Halo, which protected his head actually hitting the barrier. Then his whatever fireproof jacket, and everything that they have. Then the helmet, crash helmet. So he was lucky to be alive, and it was good to see those medics on place at emergency team immediately there. It was scary. I have not seen anything like that. I know there have been crashes, etc., but this was absolutely scary. And now we know that everything else gets put into perspective, right? One podium less, one podium more. That's what the drivers have said. This was what's most important. He was alive. And the other big one was Hamilton tested positive for COVID. So he's not driving this weekend. George Russell has got a chance to drive because he was part of the Mercedes Young Drivers program. And yesterday was the qualifying. So Mercedes are 1-2 as usual, but George Russell is there. So I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen without Hamilton. There's going to be
Yeah.
more competition for sure.
Yeah, I think F1 is leaning towards uh, monopoly, if I can put it in those words, because every race you see, it's always Hamilton. We need more competition. We need more people to say, yeah, I can win this one. You know, and I think yeah, yeah, I mean, it's I'm sad that Hamilton tested positive, obviously, but it is giving a new blood some exposure to F1, international F1 uh, scenario. So that's a good thing. And like you said, I mean, the crash, I saw the videos. I didn't see the race myself, but I saw the videos, and I feel like it's just because they are driving so fast. We drive, uh, our speed is like what, 50, 60 kilometers per hour at the max in the city. And on highway, maybe 100, average. And these guys are driving at 300 kilometers per hour, 400 kilometers per hour. They are so fast. And how much ever safety equipments you put in a car, it is going to be difficult to save a life in that kind of scenario. So yeah, like you said, he's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And
But that
yeah,
sport keeps reviewing safety measures, and whether you like it, people were not happy because that halo, that bar or whatever, would restrict their viewing. It doesn't look good, etc. Now everybody knows what
yeah,
it means, right? So I don't
yeah,
think they're going to talk about any safety measure that comes in going forward. It is required in that sport, especially.
yeah, safety first, man. Visuals are very secondary in this case, because a person's life is more important than how the car or that person himself looks. So yeah, it has been I saw that, and I have seen crash videos before, but to see something in your own lifetime is different, and it
Yeah.
makes you think about how feeble your life is. Anything can happen at any point. This year in general has shown that. So be careful, everybody. Safety first, in any case. Um, so yeah, I think we should come back to our main topic, which is boxing. I'm really excited about this because boxing is one of my favorite topics. So, and of course, Mary Kom is a legend, and she's one of my role models. So I'm really happy to talk about this. And before we get into who is going to represent India at Olympics, we just wanted to brush up on our basics. So shall we start with, who is the governing body, and, touch upon the rules a little bit. So Anusha, if you want to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. So in India, the boxing is governed by Indian Boxing Federation for Olympics. And internationally, it is actually IBA, which is the International Boxing Association. But due to various issues and corruption scandals and all that, the International Olympic Committee or the IOC actually did not want them, or did not do not recognize them anymore for Olympics. So it is going to be governed by a task force, which is called a boxing task force, which is built by the IOC itself. So that's who are the federations for this Olympics. Anything to add there, Vaidehi?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's a difficult task for IOC because they are undertaking the entire responsibility of, you know, selecting the players, conducting qualifiers, which is actually IBA's job
Mm.
essentially. But unfortunately, due to lot of reasons, IBA not adhering to the international Olympic standards and lot of scandals, they have been barred from overlooking the qualifiers. So it's a difficult task for IOC, because Olympics is big, right? They are looking after so many different things, not just boxing. Boxing is one of the sports that they are uh,
Yeah.
conducting in the tournament, but they have done a good job so far. And yeah, uh, but yeah, I mean, to take you through the rules in general, um, boxing is a pretty simple game to understand. There are 3 rounds of 3 minutes, and there's a 1 minute break. And Summer Olympics, we are talking specifically about Summer Olympics. It's a senior boxing uh, players. Um, and then there are, of course, cadet category Olympics, youth Olympics, and stuff like that, which are conducted by IOC, but they have a separate set of rules. And we are only focusing on Summer Olympics. So in Summer Olympics, it's senior players, and both men and women play 3 rounds of 3 minutes and 1 minute break in between, right? um, and then then there are referees and judges. Referee is the person who stands inside the ring, and the judges are the people who sit outside the ring. So if you have seen boxing matches before, you will see a bench just outside the ring where there are 3 people sitting. Those are the judges. They are responsible for scoring. So referee inside the ring would indicate a point, and then it is judge's job to note it down, and at the end of the match announce result of the match as well.
Yeah. So before we, while that's the rules, I just want to also say there are two kinds of boxing, right? One is professional boxing and amateur boxing. There are differences there. Like professional boxing is, it goes for 12 rounds. It's a longer match. There is no protective gear whatsoever there. They play for a purse of money, and which is divided based on contract and all of that. Here, here we have, I think the men had headgear before, but they saw a lot more concussion with headgear, so they stopped that. Women have headgear even now in amateur boxing, is what I read. So yeah, that's the main difference between the two, and amateur is one which is recognized in the Olympics.
Yeah, so if you have heard of professional boxing, where one of our very big boxer plays, Vijender Singh.
Yeah.
He's a professional boxer, and the rule also says that once you become professional boxer, you cannot compete in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think he'll have to change to amateur if he wants to come in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is the rule. So while you are competing professionally in boxing scenario, you cannot compete in
Yeah.
Olympics. That's the rule. So if you want to get into Olympics again, you will have to leave the professional boxing ring.
Right.
Uh, but usually professional boxers don't, because there's a lot of money to be made. And recent news in professional boxing is Ritu Fogart. who is India, so who is one of the Fogart sisters. She's a professional boxer. She's known as the Indian Tigress.
Hmm.
She competes in one championship, and which is one of the biggest MMA tournament, and she won the championship this year. So that's a yeah, that's a great news. Both formats are okay, but boxers tend to go for Olympics first, and then they get into professional boxing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the rule. If you're competing at professional level, you cannot compete um, in the Olympics or any Olympic format boxing.
Yeah. Just one more point on the point system that you were talking, right? The judges give 10, it's called a 10-point system, where the judges give based on clean punches. Are you aggressive in the right way? Are you driving the tactic? All of that. And so it's finally the person is dominating or doing the right things, they get 10. Of course, if there are foul plays, they deduct for that. And the next person, the opponent, gets say 9 if nothing goes wrong, 10 and 9. So you know 10, that round has gone to the person who's got 10 points. So that's the overall scoring system that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are, of course, weight classes or weight categories, same as wrestling. We spoke about wrestling last time, and the difference is the international standards or categories uh, of weight are more than the Olympic weight categories. So what I mean by that is, if you go into, let's say, a world championship, you will find more weight categories than the Olympics.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the typical categories are fly, weather, feather, light, welterweight, middleweight, light, heavy, and super heavy. And these are Olympic weight categories. And then there are some more weight categories in the international IBA standards. So yeah, I mean that is the difference. I'm not going to go into much details
Yeah, so
of
it's just that men
that.
have 8 categories, women are competing in 5 in the
Yeah,
Olympics.
yeah,
I think earlier it was 10 for men, it's reduced to 8, I think, and women were 3, which is made 5 now.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. And it's a big announcement for this Olympics, because I think or I wonder, was it changed in 2012 London Olympics? I can't remember that for now, for sure, for now. But yeah, it's a big news that number of categories, weight categories for women in Olympics have increased. So it's a great news for women's sports. And yeah, I think those are the basic rules that we need to keep in mind if when we watch Olympics.
yeah, sorry,
And
the
of
last
course there
point.
are,
Sorry, go
yeah,
on.
you go ahead,
No, I was just
your
going to
turn.
say, obviously there is the way they win is one is points, the other one is knockouts, right? We have to, yeah. So that's there are different kinds of knockout. Like if you are totally down and within a count of 10, if you don't get up, that round is lost. So that's a knockout as well. Or you get disqualified for flouting rules. So these are the 3 ways of winning a match.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think if you don't know much about boxing, and if you're watching it for the first time this Olympics, then these are the basic rules that you need to keep in mind. So there are three ways of winning a bout. One is by points, second is by knockout, third is by disqualification. So if your opponent disqualifies for so many different reasons, then you win. So these are the three things that you need to remember. Referee is in the middle of the ring, judges are outside the ring. What else? Then there are different weight categories. It's okay if you don't remember all the weight categories. You just have to watch it on screen, and it's equally exciting, whichever weight category it is. And there are 3 rounds of 3 minutes, and 1 minute break in between. So these are the basic rules that you need to remember when you watch Olympics, boxing at the Olympics in 2021. It's exciting. I am really looking forward to it. And The next thing that we want to talk about, as usual, is India at Olympics, right? So boxing at Olympics. And one name that comes in mind always is Mary Kom. I mean, what a phenomenal career she has had actually. And she has broken all the rules. She has broken all the glass ceilings. She has broken all the norms. She is mother of four, if I'm correct. And
Yes.
she's competing at Olympics at the age of 37 or 38, I think.
37. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I mean, she's a lean, mean machine. She never stops. And it is a pleasure to watch her box. She's so technical. And even if I was watching her video one time of general, training video, and she's so fast, man. I mean, I don't think if anybody stands in front of her, a normal person stands in front of her, would be able to avoid her punch. No way. It's a straight knockout. She's very fast, and I'm looking forward to seeing her at the Olympics this time.
Yeah. So actually, nine of us, nine people from India qualified,
Yeah.
right? Five men and four women, each in one category. So we still have four spots to go. So we'll go there, but I'm just giving a view of 9 out of 13 weight classes have been qualified. Four we can still qualify. Out of that, one is obviously Mary Kom, and her hunger never dies. It's amazing to see. And she was saying in some interview that asked her, "What drives you so much? How can you keep getting better? You've achieved everything, from a member of parliament to medals to Olympics to your mother. That's it, right?" But she says when she thinks about our country, people, how much they expect, she doesn't want to let people down. And that's what drives her. And one important thing is this will be her last Olympics, because 40 is the age, right? And she will cross that within the next one. So it's big for India and for her.
Yeah, I think that, according to me, for me at least, she is the only athlete who has been consistently winning over the years, right? And not just people in or the players in boxing, everybody in sports, and any player and every player in sports has to look at her and think, yeah, I want to be as consistent as Mary Kom. Right? She doesn't come from a rich background. She comes from a poor family. And she has not given that as an excuse to not achieving something. Ever. She has not ever made a comment on, I don't have all the means to go ahead. She has just taken whatever was given to her or whatever was available to her and made it into a medal. So I think she's a great role model for all athletes in India.
Yeah,
And
I think it's an important point because consistency, she herself said that winning once is easy. Not easy in the sense it is possible. Winning over and over again is the biggest challenge. And she has actually told, I want our youngsters to take up that challenge of winning consistently, which is the most difficult thing.
yeah, I agree. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to her. And I remember there was this big controversy about Olympic qualification and
Yes.
who should enter into qualification tournaments and stuff like that. It was um who was it? Nikas Zareen, I think.
Nikat Zareen. Yes, it was Nikat Zareen and Mary Kom.
And I remember that she didn't say anything on the comments that Nikat made. Nikat is equally good boxer, I think, and she trains well and she wants to win. Uh, but I mean, there are two types of thought processes behind this. Some people say she should have said something, and she could have interfered and said, okay, yes, younger people should get uh, an advantage or an opportunity to enter the qualifiers. And she's at the end of her career, and she should have given more opportunity to the younger players. But my point is, why? If she can compete and qualify for the Olympics, the younger players should prove themselves against her first. and she did went on to fight that bout, and she won. She came on top. So Nikhit actually has a lot to prove at this point because
Correct.
she's the younger one, right?
Yeah.
So that is my opinion, honestly. Different people have different opinions, but I liked that she didn't interfere in all the controversy that was going on. She just went on to play the match, which was what you're supposed to do. Or rather, that's what I think that the players should do. They should prove their, talent, and yeah, that's
Yeah, so actually the contingent this time that's going is the largest ever for India. Which, so we know there's been tremendous progress in boxing, right? And we have two experienced people, Mary Kom and Krishna, right? What's his name? Vikas Krishna. So these
yeah,
two are experienced with the youth that's going in. So I think it's a great mix and a very good opportunity for us to do big. We have the world number one with us
yeah,
as well, right? Amit.
yeah.
So we have a great, so like we spoke about wrestling, we said there's great opportunity even in boxing. I am excited to see this kind of contingent going and we'll have a great chance.
Yeah, and I think Lovlina, um, who plays in 69 kg category, she has been doing phenomenal job. Because she won 2018 IBA Women's Championship, World Championship,
Mm.
which is a great feat. Not just 2018, she also won 2019. So she's been doing well in at an international level. So I have big hopes from, obviously, from Mary Kom, but also from her, because she's young blood. She's already qualified for the Olympics, and she already has that international experience that you need to win a medal at the Olympics. And she has played against the, top boxers, which are which are obviously going to compete at an international level, or the
Yeah.
Olympics.
But I also read that I think in the qualifiers itself, she herself said that I was a little too complacent in my last match. Okay, so I think she realizes that and she wants to really aim for a gold is what I read somewhere.
Really hope that she does.
Yeah.
Our players need to think from a winning perspective, and they are slowly changing their mindset from just participating in the tournament or the Olympics to, winning medal. And that's what they are striving for, because they have role models like Mary Kom today, who has won consistently. So it's good to see that attitude towards, any international uh, tournament. Olympics is like a big deal. Olympic medal is what people live for. So I'm really happy to see that change in our
Yeah.
players.
And even Pooja Rani, right? She was the gold medalist at the Asian Championship. I think last Olympics she didn't qualify. She couldn't qualify, but and this time she was the first Indian woman to qualify for that. So Amit and Pooja is, of course, Mary Kom. There's no question about it. Other than her, these two is what I am looking forward to. Somehow, with all the reading and what I did, I think these two have great chance.
Yeah, I think so. But I do also think that, I have more, if at all I want to bet my money on a player, I would bet on women today, because I've heard of them doing well at an international level. I've heard their names in newspaper. I think for general public, we know who they are. Lovlina may not be as famous as Mary Kom, but she has been, winning somewhat consistently at an international level. Um, I want to see the same thing happening in men's boxing. I want to see role models. Vijender was one of those names, but who's next is my question for men's boxing. I see, yeah, obviously I see names like Amit, I see names like, Krishnan, and, all these people, but I want to see a synonymous name with Mary Kom in men's boxing. If you understand what I mean, I want to
Yeah.
see that happening in India, and I want to see that equality because I look at Olympic games or Olympic sports, and all I see is women's name coming up, and that's a good thing. I'm not, disputing the fact that yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean it's a good thing, but men also need to, do something equal.
So
I
I
think.
really think Amit is there for a reason, right? So I think this could be it for us. It's a
Yeah,
big thing. So I also saw Vijender also talking about him. He also has a lot of hope on him this time. So we have three more men who can qualify and one more woman. So it'll be interesting to see who goes through. I think there are people like Sachin Kumar in one of the vacant weight categories. And I think Sakshi Chaudhary, if I'm not wrong, in the vacant one.
yeah,
So, and they have this world world championship, the world qualifiers that will come up next year,
yeah,
and to see. So we can actually have a 13-member contingent possible, which is massive. I don't think it's been more than 7 or 8 till now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we will have full team in one in the country. I'm hoping that. But according to me, boxing has been one of those sports who has been lucky in terms of qualifications early on, because most of the other sports have been hampered because of COVID situation. But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
boxing, we already have highest qualification from India.
Correct.
So in terms of qualification, we have been lucky.
Hmm.
But obviously, there are four more birthplaces available right now. So it'll be interesting to see who fights for it. And there's a lot of competition in boxing also.
Yeah.
Um,
And the good thing is they were in a camp already in Patiala. Then we actually went to France and competed in one of the tournaments there, Alexis Westine International. We won 3 gold, 1 silver, 3 bronze. There. Okay, so we have started well and they've got good exposure already in that. Otherwise, most other sports we see they don't have practice at a match level, right? This sport has got that advantage. They're still training in Italy now. So yeah, a lot of hope there.
yeah, and also I feel like our biggest competition as a country would be USA, because in I mean when you think of boxing, your mind immediately goes to USA for so many different reasons. It may be because the Las Vegas bouts that happen, which are globally famous, but they have been producing great boxers, um, great Olympic boxers, and the medal tally is incomparable to ours,
Hmm.
honestly. So that is going to be a big challenge for us, according to me.
Hmm.
But other than that, I mean, there are a lot of countries in between. What I would feel comfortable with is if we can get a couple of medals. I don't care what color they are, honestly. But if we can get, a couple of medals, one in each men and women, that will boost our confidence.
I'm
Think,
greedy. I want more than 3 minutes. I always keep thinking because we have so many weight categories and we have great contenders. So I was just thinking on an average, what would I be okay with? I was thinking we have to get more than 3, which is very ambitious, I know, but it is not impossible. This is the best year probably in the last few years for us to get.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I see Mary Kom going to at least minimum of worse, and this is like a worse scenario. I see her going to at least, semifinals, because she has that experience with her, and she has that speed, and she has that aggression in her, um, and all her experience, and her personal life comes into her boxing as well, because I feel like mothers perform better than I don't know, for some reason I feel like they have that, they understand how to fight because they have gone through the worst pain in life. So I feel like they can bring that pain into their fight, and they perform better at international level. So that's, I don't know, it's my observation, or my hope maybe. But I want to see Mary Kom get into finals. I really, really do, because it's going to be her last Olympics, and I want to see her win. I want to see her on podium.
Yeah, that will be amazing. Yeah, and like I was saying, right? If you compare last 4 years, in the top 10, we had, I think, seven people in 2016. We have 12 now with a tie and all that. So 12 people in the top 10 in the last 4 years, it's increased. And top three, we have four people now across categories and things. So we are in the right direction. And this Olympics, I think, is at the right time. They have got the practice, we have the talent. So if any sport, I have massive hope it is boxing probably compared to all of that.
Yeah, I really hope though that they perform as well as they perform in world championships, because
Mm.
this has been an observation, and this has been what has happened in the past, that our players perform well at World Cups in archery, for example, or World Championship in wrestling, boxing, sports like that. But when it comes to Olympics, is a bigger podium.
Mm.
It's a global tournament, and more people are watching, more eyes are on the prize, right? So sometimes I feel like there is that mental block when it comes to performing at the Olympics. So I really hope that you know that is not the cause for us to lose a medal. And this has been observed in many different sports. We perform against the same opponents. uh, we perform well in maybe world championships, and if we come across the same person again in the Olympics, it's a mental game, right? It's not about skills, because we already know that these people have skills and they are absolutely phenomenal boxers. But it is, again, it's a mind game, that's what matters at the at a event like Olympics.
Yeah, so
It
I think that's where the experience and youth mix this time we have with a big contingent might come in handy. They can guide the youngsters, and the youngsters obviously have that much more hunger and you know energy. So yeah, hopefully that won't go against us this time.
Yeah, I really hope so. So I'm looking forward to this, really.
Yeah.
Any last additions, Anusha?
No, that's about it. I think it was a good discussion. I hope people understood what the sport is about, how we are in the Olympics, what hopes we have. So yeah, exciting time. Looking forward to it.
I am really happy to see more of our boxers going into Olympics, and I'm really hoping that we win medals for the country, because it's a big deal. And no pressure, but but I would like to see at least a couple of medals, and I would definitely like to see Mary Kom on podium for sure. So it's exciting, and yeah, it'll be amazing to see Indian boxing at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So again, it was again a great discussion, Anusha. Thank you so much for being here, and great episode. Lot of information to add to our portfolio, maybe. It was a phenomenal research work done by Anusha, and also, and by on my side, I did a little bit of research also. So all in all, it has been a great experience so far conducting these sessions, and we are calling it WISI Talks. So I hope that you enjoyed the discussion as much as we did. And I hope that, you continue to support and visit us whenever we come back. Um, so we will see you in about 2 weeks, and with a new sport to talk about, and a lot more research to be done in the meantime. And it was pleasure to be here, and thank you, Anusha, again for being here and sharing your views and having this great discussion.
Yeah,
So thank you
thanks. It
so
was
much,
awesome fun
guys.
as usual. Thank you.
So thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in 15 days. Till then, bye bye.
Bye.